very much for the invitation. What fantastic surroundings, very appropriate, very calm surroundings, a great choice for the launch. And very pleased to be able to lend my support to the launch of a new charity which offers services to communities not just in Dundee but throughout Tayside. And I heard earlier that in the run-up to the event tonight there was a Mindful Living Information Day for carers in the area to promote self-care as a concept, while also supporting the hugely important role that carers play in the community. And that struck a bit of a chord with me, because through the work we've been doing in the Scottish Government through the NHS, we've also been trying to do a similar thing. There's certainly a connection there around self-care and self-management, and that whole concept that patients and carers can really benefit from. And I suppose it's quite a simple concept in some ways, but in other ways quite life-transforming, because I heard a group of patients talking about how disempowering and overwhelming a diagnosis of a condition can be, whether that's diabetes or Parkinson's. It doesn't matter what the condition, but just how suddenly you're going along in your life and everything seems hunky-dory, and then suddenly something happens that is quite life-transforming, taking away your power, feeling overwhelmed by it. And those patients talked about their journey from being really depressed, feeling completely no control over their life anymore, that they were being controlled by their condition, that they were being kind of pulled this way and that way, and not really having any self-worth, and their families were affected. And they talked about what happened to them when they went through a self-management experience and course. Now, that can come in various forms, but the essential concept is one where the person comes to terms with living with a condition and can deal with the anxiety and the depression by looking at what they can do. It was really giving people back power and control in their life. The condition wasn't going to go away, they weren't going to be cured, but they were given the power and the information and the tools, mainly through their mind and their mindset about their condition, to be able to deal with it and to look forward to doing things again. A woman was telling us about how she used to sail boats and had actually sold the boat when she was confirmed she had MS, and she thought, well, that's it, I can't do anything, sold the boat, and actually went through a complete transformation and ended up sailing again, because she thought, I'm going to be able to do this, I'm really going to take control of my life. And there are so many connections, I think, with the whole self-management concept and self-care concept, because it's all about what's in your mind and your approach to your mind, not just about your body's going through. So that was a real revelation to me about why in the NHS it's not all about operations and treating people and medication. Of course that has its role, but actually sometimes it's also about the psychological therapies, the health, the self-management, what might seem to be the kind of softer side of the work that we do, but actually there's a really important element there that can help people cope with what life throws at them. And I think there's a real connection and work that we can do together with those principles and the Nillico Foundation. I'm very impressed with the number of organisations that Nillico has managed to work with, not least the ones that have spoken here tonight, but people in the audience as well. For a charity that's only been around for a year, you've certainly been working hard. It's amazing, and people talk very highly of you. So you've clearly you've made an impact and an impression. I just want to say a couple of other things about where I think this could have a real relevance to some of the work that we're doing as a Scottish Government, as an NHS. And that is some of the work that the Chief Medical Officer has been doing, Harry Burns. I don't know if any of you have ever heard Harry Burns speak, but he's a Chief Medical Officer who speaks not like a doctor. He actually speaks from his heart. He is very, very passionate about some of the causes of poverty and ill health and some of the generational disadvantage that you see in still too many parts of Scotland. And actually, there's a lot of evidence that he has collated and worked on and looked at that says that a child's life chances, and I'm really struck by what Angela was saying here, that a child's life chances can quite often be formed by what happens to them in the first 2 to 3 years of their life. And if they've had a difficult start to life, maybe through poor parenting or poor life chances, a lot of screaming and shouting going on in the house, actually that impacts on their cardiovascular system through the stress hormones. And actually, when you see the life expectancy of people in certain parts of Scotland being that much lower, it's not because they've necessarily been eating a poor diet and so on. All these things have a bearing, but actually the cardiovascular damage is done through stress and those stress hormones working on the body through that person's life. And it's almost like their reaction to everything is a defensive reaction. The stress hormones start going straight away, and that has an eventual huge impact on the person's body. And it's an amazing revelation, because what it tells us that some of the solutions to that are to be able to give people resilience in their lives. Some of the work that Angela's talked about with the technotalks, I think will be really, really interesting to look at, because if we can help to give children and young people, and then of course adults, some resilience to be able to deal with some of the difficulties that life throws at them, then I think we can instill and perhaps even repair some of the damage that has been done to individuals through their what life has done to them through from quite often an early start. So I think there's a lot more we need to understand about that whole area. I'm very excited about some of the work that you're embarking on. I think there's an opportunity for us to just think about the application of some of that, to begin to help people to turn their lives around. And thank you very much for inviting me to be part of the launch. I've got a feeling you're going to go from strength to strength. I know you're looking for premises, and I hope you find them. I wish you every success, and please keep me in touch with what you're doing. Thank you.